Fear is not reacting to what is. Fear is reacting to what might be. And what might be does not exist. Fear is not real. Not in the way you think it is. The thing you are afraid of, the conversation, the rejection, the failure, the confrontation, that thing is not happening right now. Is not here. It does not exist. Fear is your mind reacting to a projection of the future. And the future does not exist either. The samurai understood this with brutal clarity. In combat, a warrior who fears death hesitates, and hesitation kills. So the samurai developed a mental technique that did not reduce fear or manage fear. It deleted fear from the mind entirely. The technique is called Mushin. It translates as no mind or empty mind. And once you understand how it works, every fear you have ever felt will reveal itself as a ghost you created. Today I'm going to show you exactly how Mushin works. And then I'm going to show you a man who spent 30 years controlled by fear until he learned to empty his mind. His name is Masaru, 42 years old, senior accountant, married, and he has lived his entire adult life controlled by fear. Not phobias, not panic attacks, just constant low-grade fear that shapes every decision he makes. Fear of saying the wrong thing in meetings, so he stays silent. Fear of asking for the promotion, so he never asks. Fear of disappointing his wife, so he never takes risks. Fear of being judged, so he never shares opinions. Masaru is not a coward in the dramatic sense. He functions, he works, he provides, but he has never once acted without fear whispering in his ear, "What if this goes wrong?" He watches other men take risks, speak up, lead, and he cannot understand how they do it. What absence of fear they have that he does not. Then a colleague, a man Masaru admires for his calm under pressure, gives him a book. It is about Zen philosophy and samurai mental training. And in it, Masaru reads one concept that stops him cold. Mushin, the empty mind. The mind that cannot hold fear because it is empty of all thought. Mushin, the empty mind. Fear cannot fill a vessel that has no space. The samurai did not fight fear. They removed the space where fear could exist. Mushin is a Zen concept adopted by samurai warriors. It means no mind, or more accurately, empty mind. But here is what that actually means in practice. Fear is a thought about the future. Fear requires mental space to exist. If the mind is empty, truly empty, fear has nowhere to land. The samurai train Mushin not by fighting fear, not by breathing through it or reframing it or managing it. They remove the condition that allows fear to exist in the first place. They emptied the mind completely. When a samurai faced an opponent in a duel, he did not think about death. He did not think about the strike. He did not think about what would happen if he failed. He thought nothing. His mind was empty. And in that emptiness, there was no fear. Because fear requires thought, and there was no thought. This is not suppression. Suppression is holding fear down with force. Mushin is removing the space where fear could exist. An empty cup cannot hold water. An empty mind cannot hold fear. Fear controls you because your mind is full of thoughts about tomorrow, next week, next year, what people will think, what might go wrong, what could happen if you fail. Every one of those thoughts is a ghost. None of them are real, but your mind treats them as real and reacts with fear. The man who fears public speaking is not afraid of the present moment. He is afraid of a projection. What if I forget my words? What if they judge me? What if I fail? None of those things are happening. They are imagined futures, and the mind cannot tell the difference between an imagined threat and a real one. So it produces fear, real chemical fear, adrenaline, cortisol, tension, all in response to something that does not exist. Mushin solves this by removing the projection entirely. When the mind is empty, there is no future to fear. There is only the present moment, and the present moment contains no threat. He sits, breathes, and for the first time in 30 years, lets every thought dissolve. Not fighting them, just not feeding them. The mind empties. Fear has nowhere to exist. Masaru reads about Mushin and tries to apply it. The instruction is simple but brutal. Empty the mind completely. No thoughts, no planning, no projecting into future or past. Just present emptiness. Monday morning, before work, he sits, closes his eyes, and tries to think nothing. It is impossible. Thoughts flood in immediately. Work tasks, worries, plans, fears. He tries to push them away. They multiply. He tries to focus on breath. The thoughts keep coming. He fails completely for 3 days. Then on day 4, something clicks. He stops trying to push thoughts away. He just stops feeding them. A thought arises. What if the meeting goes badly? He does not engage with it. He does not answer it. He does not follow it. It hangs in the air, and then it dissolves. Another thought, another non-response, another dissolution. 10 minutes pass, and for the first time in 30 years, Masaru experiences a mind with no content. Empty, still, and completely without fear. Not because the feared things disappeared, because the mind that could fear them is temporarily absent. Masaru practices Mushin for 20 minutes every morning. Not to feel calm, not to relax, to train his mind to empty on command. Week 2, something unexpected happens at work. A presentation. High stakes. Normally, Masaru would spend 3 days consumed by fear. What if I freeze? What if they hate it? What if I fail? But the morning of the presentation, he sits, empties his mind. The fear thoughts arise. He does not engage. They dissolve. He walks into the presentation with an empty mind. Not confident, not motivated, just empty. And in that emptiness, there is no fear. Because fear is a thought, and there are no thoughts. The presentation happens. He speaks, answers questions. It goes well. But that is not the important part. The important part is that for the first time in his life, he acted without fear whispering in his ear. Not because he overcame fear, because he removed the mental space where fear could exist. Mushin is not fighting fear. It is recognizing that fear only exists when the mind has content. Remove the content. Fear vanishes. After 60 days of Mushin practice, Masaru understands something that changes everything. Fear was never the problem. The problem was the mental space where fear could exist. Every fear he ever felt was created by his mind projecting into a future that did not exist. Job loss, rejection, failure, judgment. None of those things were happening. There were thoughts about possibilities, and thoughts only have power when the mind gives them space. Mushin does not fight the thoughts. It removes the space. When a mind is empty, a fear thought arises and finds nowhere to land. It passes through like wind through an empty room. The samurai were not fearless because they were brave. They were fearless because they trained their minds to be empty. And an empty mind cannot hold fear. This is not permanent. Masaru cannot stay in Mushin all day. No one can. But when fear arises, he now knows how to empty the space it needs. And without that space, fear simply dissolves. Sit, breathe. Let every thought arise without feeding it. Not fighting, not following, just letting it pass through emptiness. 20 minutes daily. Fear will have nowhere to land. You know the fear that controls you. The conversation you avoid. The risk you will not take. The thing you do not do because of what might happen. That fear exists because your mind is full. Empty the mind. Fear has nowhere to exist. Practice Mushin. 20 minutes. Every morning. Sit. Close your eyes. Let thoughts arise. Do not fight them. Do not follow them. Do not engage with them. Just let them pass. A worry comes. You do not answer it. It dissolves. A fear comes. You do not feed it. It passes. A plan comes. You do not develop it. It fades. This is not suppression. This is non-engagement. You are training your mind to be empty. The first week will be frustrating. Your mind will riot. By week 2, moments of emptiness will appear. By week 4, you will be able to empty your mind on command. And when fear arises in your day, you will empty the space it needs. And it will dissolve. Be empty. Be present. Be fearless.